45 wanted us unalive.
Exonerated 5, okay? They are suing Donald Trump for defamation. They filed this lawsuit because of his comments at a presidential debate about their wrongful conviction. The 5 black and Hispanic teenagers were wrongfully convicted of the 1989 rape and assault of a woman jogging in Central Park. They spent years in prison before their convictions were overturned in 2002, once the true culprit confessed and was corroborated by DNA evidence. The lawsuit notes the 5 members never pled guilty and the victim wasn't killed, claiming Trump's comments were made with a reckless disregard for their falsity to the tens of millions of Americans who tune into the debate. I'll be chatting with one of the attorneys tomorrow who filed the lawsuit. Here's what's crazy to me about this here, Gavin. In the lawsuit, one of the young men, Yusef Salaam, says that he went up to Trump at a debate and in the spin room, and Trump says, "Oh, you must be one of my supporters." He says, "No, I'm not." And he said, "Would you apologize?" And Trump just sort of just waved him off and kept moving. The fact that Trump, and man, remember the last election, Trump doubled down and did not apologize for taking that full-page ad out and insisted that they were still guilty.
Yeah, look, this is just further evidence of how Donald Trump sees us as black people. So let me talk to those black folks at home who are still deciding who to vote for or whether to vote at all, right? Donald Trump, since the I don't remember what year this was, but Central Park 5, now exonerated 5, took out a full-page ad to have them executed via the death penalty. How did he come onto the scene when he ran for president in 2016? By promoting racist lies about Barack Obama being born in Africa, not being born here in the United States, which he obviously was. By talking about people from Haiti as coming from shithole countries, by saying there were very fine people on both sides of a Unite the Right rally, which featured white supremacist KKK members. He's referred to us as thugs. He told the Proud Boys, white supremacists, to stand back and stand by. But it's not just how he sees it, it's how he treats us in terms of his policies. We've talked about on this show how over the 4 years that Donald Trump was in office, the policies that he put in place when it comes to criminal justice and how the Department of Justice was utilized, seeking to strip away health care from many, many black Americans by putting justices onto the Supreme Court who have now been responsible for overturning Roe v. Wade, which has already had and which will continue to have detrimental impacts on black women in terms of furthering the maternal health and maternal mortality crisis that we have in this country. And of course, those same justices who have helped get rid of affirmative action. So again, the fact that Donald Trump continues to spew this racist rhetoric, these lies about the now exonerated 5, fits into a broader pattern of who Donald Trump is. And as we know, when someone shows you who they are, you better doggone believe them.
Well, Julian, I'm glad to see them file this lawsuit because he needs to be held accountable for these reckless comments.
Absolutely. I mean, he behaves as he's above the law. He's done that consistently throughout his life, actually, failing to rent to black folks when he was a landlord in Queens. And we could go through his failing to pay people he's contracted with, and he just decides randomly, well, I'll just pay you this amount. There was a gentleman who was a piano somebody or other, and he ordered 5 pianos and then paid him for 3 and told him, you can sue me for the rest of it. This small vendor didn't have the money to sue him, so he got away with it. He gets away with it time and time and time again. Jean Carroll is waiting for her money, and now the exonerated 5 will be waiting for theirs too, because they're absolutely right to sue him. He has taken them and he's used them as a bulletin board for so-called black criminality. They never pled guilty. We repeat, they never pled guilty. So I hope their lawyer was on someplace today. He seemed good. And this is a case that he cannot dismiss this if he's elected. We pray that he's not elected, but if he is, he can't dismiss this one. He might be able to dismiss the federal, but he can't dismiss this.
Absolutely. Makongo.
You know, watching the pictures of the actual trial when it happened that you were showing,
it just made me think of the weight of what these brothers had to deal with in 89, 90, like that picture there. I mean, it's one thing when you have police falsely accuse you and all of that, the forced confessions, that's always happened. But then you have a guy like Trump, who on many levels was, one of the most important figures, or at least famous figures in New York at the time, coming at you. And the fact that they were able to sustain that and come out the way they are now, I know just all of the issues that I hear in the interviews and the like. And so I'm really happy that they are still standing, that they are still strong, and that they're able to go after him right now. Some people would just say, I just want to get on with my life. That time's over. I forgive. But and maybe they would have if he didn't do what he did in the debate. And he's never going to stop. So just like as Dr. Malveaux said with E. Jean Carroll, people have to do this work to shut him up and shut him out. And so I hope that they get every penny. But look, this is a guy who gets lots of charges thrown at him and gets convicted and so on and so forth, doesn't serve jail time, doesn't pay the fines, and so I'm just hoping that we got to win so that these cases can continue. But I'm just really proud of what these brothers and their families have done and what they're continually doing with their lives and getting out there in this public space. And let's lastly remember that the woman who was actually raped endured a lot of this, in terms of there was someone who was actually who didn't want to confess to this, right? And so he lived his life, in prison as well. But I think that there's a lot of victims in this, and I'm just really happy that they're actually going after Trump right now. And I hope that they get everything that they deserve, and he gets everything he deserves.
Wrongfully convicted.
5 teenagers were arrested, tried, convicted, and sent to prison.
No men were exonerated.
What he did to us, he tried to end us.
Of course I hate these people.
So-called the Central Park 5.
Calling for execution. And let's all hate these people.
We cannot have this man go into office again.
And I want society to hate him.
We were innocent kids.
The confessions were coerced.
Today, we are exonerated. That guy says he still stands by the original guilty verdict.
This is about democracy being on the ballot.
I have absolutely no compassion.
Look at Kamala. She represents the kaleidoscope of the human family. There's something different happening in America. We will get the opportunity to build a future where we will be able to thrive and not just survive.